Good afternoon, YouTube, and in tonight's video we're going to be playing some more Final Fantasy 1. Listen, I gotta talk to you guys. I'm going to grind for a minute while I talk about something. Okay. I'm going to be changing up the format of my videos just a little bit. I've realized that I should be bringing you guys very high quality videos, and I'm just not doing that, and that's probably why my channel isn't growing. So I'm going to be changing some things up. If you are watching my videos in the way that they are, have no fear. Not much is going to be changing in the regard of that. I just kind of keep like advertising my videos, if you will, as like a lore video or a lore playthrough. And I think what I'm going to do moving forward is we're going to keep doing Let's Plays. We're going to keep doing walkthroughs, but I'm going to kind of just have it be that. What I'm going to do instead, as far as the lore goes, I'm going to be making like little footnotes and things like that, and I'm going to be kind of doing separate videos. I've kind of talked about doing like an Astos the Elf video, which is kind of what I'm going to be working on very soon, and covering and going over all the lore that I could find and things to talk about as far as that character goes, and maybe a couple of other things I might do, kind of like a For Fiends. I might do like a Final Fantasy 1 explained kind of a video where we can talk about the time loop and everything that's going on as far as that goes. So I'm going to do kind of the walkthroughs separate from the lore. Now, if you are kind of liking the lore and stuff like that, I'm still going to be talking about that while I do the walkthroughs and the Let's Plays. Not like I said, not a lot is going to change. If you're into the videos and the way that they are right now, not too much is going to change. I'm just going to add more lore videos and stuff like that on the side where we can talk about it. So if you are somebody who likes the longer kind of videos and the longer Let's Plays, those are really going to not change all that much. And then if you're somebody who wants to just get straight into the lore and talk about the nitty gritty and talk about the interesting things, then that's exactly what I plan on giving you as well. We're going to be doing those on this channel as well. So I just kind of wanted to go over that with you guys when we do start doing Final Fantasy 2. For example, when we go and start doing Final Fantasy 2 on this channel, which is going to be very soon, we're just going to kind of do like a full walkthrough of the game. We'll talk about the lore and stuff like that as we cross it, but if I find anything solid, if I find anything really significant or important, I'm going to make a kind of a side video on the side. With that said, I am a relatively newer YouTuber. I don't really know a whole heck of a lot about video editing and things like that, so bear with me. It might take me a little bit of time to get up and running with the lore videos, but I will be bringing those to you guys. I will be bringing that to this channel. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and continue our journey through Final Fantasy 1 by going to Melmond. I'm going to rest real quick because I did a couple battles there. Yay! Now, why are we in Melmond? Well, that's because in the last video we got an item, a very special item called the Rosetta Stone. It is right here. We found that in the water shrine, the sunken shrine. It's a tablet inscribed with ancient writing, which we believe to be the Lufenian language. Why is that in the water temple? Well, we don't know. Why is that in the... I guess it's called the sunken shrine. I keep calling it the water temple like it's Zelda. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to bring it to this character here, who is now a little bit more important than he used to be. Just a moment. Let me see that tablet. This is the Rosetta Stone. This makes it possible to decipher Lufenian. Yes, of course. That's what that was. It all makes sense. Here, allow me to express my gratitude by teaching you Lufenian. Okay, we get a little sequence of them teaching us how to speak Lufenian and know Lufenian. There. Now you could speak Lufenian too. Okay, cool. That took all of what? 5 minutes of him teaching me? Restore the crystals to grace. Now he says that instead of being rude to us. Okay, with that said, this is our party and our team and our setup. We've got level 36 under our belts. I've got my red mage equipped like so. My white mage has got a ribbon. My other black mage has a ribbon. There's our gear and stuff like that in case anybody cares. I'm going to be trying to do more of a... Like I said, I'm going to be trying to focus more on the walkthroughs during the walkthroughs and then the lore and the lore. So, the lore and the lore videos, the walkthroughs and the walkthrough videos. So... That makes me very excited, actually. I feel very at ease and very at peace with that decision. I think that once we get to Final Fantasy II, things will be a lot more organized in that way. And then, like I said, any points of interest, I'll stop and make a separate video about that. And I feel good about that. So now that we know the Lufenian language, we should go straight to Lufenia? I guess that would be the name of the town. I don't know. But anyway, it's located right here. We've been here before. How do I get here? I forget. Bear with me here. We just got to find a place to land, which is going to be way the heck over here. And I'm just going to walk there really quick. Hold on just a sec. And yeah, it is called Lufenia. Here we are in Lufenia, so now we should be able to understand what these guys are saying. We are the Lufenians, the descendants of the race that once lived among the clouds, the Sky People. You use a vessel you call an airship. It was built by one of our ancestors, a man by the name of Sid. Okay, interesting. I don't know because I like to go off the original, right? I really wish I had the dialogue from the original NES version that we can go off of, because I don't know if they even talk about Sid or mention Sid, but they're mentioning Sid now, and as far as the lore goes, we're going to keep that in mind when we get into Final Fantasy II. Okay, that is very, very important. That even though Sid is not in this game, he is mentioned. We have a legend that has been passed down through many generations. According to this legend, 400 years after the fall of civilization in the sky, warriors bearing light will come forth to save our people. Well, that's right now, isn't it? Because you guys got wrecked 400 years ago. Let's talk to this guy. The light bearers. Then the legend is true. You betcha. You bet your socks. Alright, let's talk to this guy. 400 years ago, we built a civilization of the highest order. Even beyond the skies we reached. However, that is not but history now. Yeah, because and this is one of the things I'm going to make a video about, but the four fiends are, to me anyway, are warriors of darkness. They came to put a balance to the world. I mean, they fire, earth, water, the crystals, fire, earth, water, and air. Okay? You think that the crystals didn't make the four fiends? Absolutely they did. They made the four fiends to stop these guys from doing what they were doing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Omega Weapon before or not, but these are the guys that built that thing. And we don't... That is one of the most horrible and powerful bosses in all of Final Fantasy. Something had to be done about it. But if you're digging really, really deep into the lore, I believe that they actually made Omega Weapon to stop Tiamat. So Tiamat actually ended up coming first. Tiamat? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing things. Just leave me a face slap in the comments below. This world is composed of four forces: fire, earth, water, and wind. Thank you, because I couldn't think about that earlier. Thanks for helping me out. Of these, we showed greatest prowess with the power of wind. High in the sky, we set a castle afloat in that azure sea of stars. You guys went to space? The flying castle floats on a blue sea of stars beyond the sky. So this castle, even though their race got wiped out and their cities destroyed, what have you, this castle that they're talking about is still up there. And I believe that castle that they're speaking of is the Wind Shrine, or at least whatever building houses the Wind Crystal. The Sky People would pass on their memories from one generation to the next through rituals, but 400 years is a very long time, and those memories have begun to fade. So what do you guys remember? What can you guys help me with? Could the mechanical beings our ancestors created still function? Yeah, not only do they still function, but they're very helpful. One gave me a warp cube. I don't know why. I guess because we're the Warriors of Light, and it knew that we needed that warp cube. I think that warp cube is how we get to the Flying Fortress. We got that in the last episode from a robot. The castle that floats high above the clouds was once the home of our ancestors. Can you guys give it a different name other than the castle that floats high above the clouds? So instead of it being a shrine, it looks like it was actually their kingdom, really. The Mirage Tower is the gateway to that castle. So the Mirage Tower is how we get up there. Can you get out of the way? I want to talk to everybody. We struggled for our very lives with Tiamat, the Fiend of Wind, but our power was not enough. To this day, her lair remains in the castle in the sky, the flying fortress. Yeah, she's drinking the power of the Earth Crystal all day long. Or Earth Crystal? What am I talking about? The Wind Crystal. We came to believe there was another entity controlling the four fiends. To ascertain its location, we sent out 5 warriors, but much time has passed since we heard from them. I hope no harm has befallen them. That's an interesting piece of dialogue, if we're talking about lore. I hope no harm has befallen them. 5 warriors, huh? 5 warriors. Interesting. I'm gonna have to ponder that. I need to play this game with like a notebook next to me so I can write down all the interesting points and stuff like that and make videos specifically to that. Tiamat blocks the power of wind, the source of the Sky People's strength. We placed our last hope in the 5 warriors we sent out. It's been said they fell victim to the curse of the fiends and were turned into bats. Okay, now that makes a little bit more sense to me. Before you leave, legendary warriors, take this chime with you. It will grant you passage into the Mirage Tower. Well, I'm glad I spoke to you. It's just called the chime. Okay. The Mirage Tower is our symbol. Okay. Let's see. Chime. I don't even think I've ever seen that word in my life. Dulcet? Chime of Lufenian origin. Okay. It's a chime. It's kind of like another word for a bell, right? It's kind of like a bell. It's sort of a bell. Anyway, if you take a look over here, I did not get to this in the last video, but on the map you'll see a secret set of shops over there. I am dead broke, so I don't think I'm going to be able to make much use of these shops. Well, I guess I'm not that broke, but in these shops we're going to find the final white magic spell, which is full life, and the final black magic spell, which is flare. Now, I want to talk about black magic for a moment. Did I talk about this already? I don't think I did. I want to talk about black magic for at least black magic for a minute. White magic might be a little bit different to explain, but black magic is interesting. I know I should leave the lore to the lore videos, but I just can't help myself. I'm gonna blather on about this. So we're gonna go to the Mirage Tower while I talk about this. So black magic, basically when you're like a baby sproutling black mage, okay, you're a budding black mage. You're trying to get your spells ready anyway, so whatever, you have access to like normal things like fire, blizzard, thunder, right? And then over time you can, and those are like the base elements of the game of black magic, right? And then over time you kind of get more potent with those spells. So then we get Fire 2 or Fyra. You get Blizzard 2, you know what I mean? Your potency of the spells, your knowledge of these elements is getting more intense, and you're learning more and more about black magic, and you're getting maybe some more advanced spells. Maybe you're learning how to turn things into toads, or maybe you're learning how to, do that kind of stuff. But as far as like the elements go, I think it's interesting how we end up getting the ultimate magic spell, Flare, which, if you're thinking about elements and stuff like that, flare is literally a nuclear explosion. I mean, take a look at its animation, which we'll get to eventually. But I kind of thought that was cool. Like, the pinnacle of black magic isn't like a giant fireball or a huge ice coming down. Even though those are really nice, the pinnacle of black magic is we figured out how to just make a nuclear explosion out of the elements, which I thought was kind of interesting if you think about that. We could talk more about that when we get to especially like Final Fantasy XIV, where we have some really interesting spells. But anyway, let's go ahead and enter the Mirage Tower. I'm going to turn on encounters for a moment here. Probably will skip the battles, but let's see what we have in this first room. Well, it's loaded full of treasure. You Lufenians, you guys, you really outdid yourselves. Okay, darn it, I didn't show the recording of it, but when I fight some more of these enemies, I'll show you guys. I just ran into some Guardians, which are some tiny robots that were shooting lasers at me. So a lot of the Lufenians' creations are still here, still working, still running. There's a healing helm. Look at that thing. Who can even wear such an item? No one. Nobody, really? Ninjas and knights can use it. That's a super sick helmet, but that's okay. We won't use it in this playthrough. Because I'm changing the format, I might actually end up going through this game again. I just got the Vorpal sword. It says red wizards can use it. Just don't see it on here. Oh, there it is. It's just a very sharp crescent blade. I think it's probably better for like thieves, maybe. Let's see if we could run into some more guardians so I can show you guys. There they are. They're just little tiny robot guys like that, and they like to shoot lasers at me. See? Kind of cool that their inventions 400 years later are still working. And it looks like, if I had to wager a guess, that they're working for the forces of evil now, because why else would they be shooting me, for crying out loud? Aegis shield. Aegis shield? I don't know how to pronounce that. Which, of course, nobody can use that either. Oops. That's the second time I've almost done that. A shield that guards against stone and poison. What a beautiful shield that is. Let's go ahead and turn encounters off now, because I just don't care. We're just going to get through this. We got a tent, and I think that's all the treasures that we're going to find here. Oh, look, an actual robot. Master, we have waited so long. Okay, great. Why are you guys attacking me? Waited so long for what? For me to come and kick some butt? Because that's what I'm here to do. Let's keep climbing the Mirage Tower. Mirage Tower, second floor. It's going to look something like this. Let's check out that room for sure. The last room was loaded with treasure, right? Am I right? Oops. And it looks like there's another little robot there. Let me walk around here real quick. Okay, so I'm in that middle room now. Look at this crazy looking treasure room. And these, I don't even know. What would you even call these? Computers? Keyboards? Mazes? I have no idea. We got a cottage there. Some gil. The freaking sunblade. Dragon mail. All the best stuff that you could possibly find. Look at that. A sword that's effective against the undead. I think I am going to equip that. That's a nice one. How about dragon mail? Can you equip some freaking dragon mail? No? Fine. More gil, more gil. Thor's hammer? Mjolnir is in this treasure chest? Let's see. Cast Thundara when used. My white wizard can actually use that. I mean, I know I have the heal with this, but holy cow, I gotta at least try this thing out. We gotta at least try this sucker out. Okay. More gil, more gil. Now, that's not bad, because I still need all that gil so I can pay for my spells. My mages... Running mages just makes you broke, okay? Running nothing but mages. They're nothing but trouble. Let's talk to this robot. Our friend left on a journey to the west. He took the warp cube and went to see our master. That's weird, because I thought I was your master, so why did he crash land behind some weird waterfall if he was looking for me? I'm definitely not there. Maybe I'm not the master. Maybe they just think I'm the master. Maybe they went to go find someone else. Maybe they went to go find Lucan. Maybe there's a blue dragon in here. Can you get out of here, you big dragon boy? You big dragon guy? He's a blue dragon. He's probably weak to fire, right? Let's try it. Ow. Yeah, Thor's hammer for the win. Okay, what do you have to say? Use the warp cube to travel beyond the sky. It will take you to the flying fortress. Crap. No, going to the flying fortress is a good thing, but one thing that I totally forgot about, one thing that I totally spaced it, is that we are actually going to be fighting Omega Weapon. I think it's called something else in Final Fantasy 1, but it's basically Omega Weapon. It's the ultimate robot that they made to try to beat Tiamat. And although it failed, I guess, it's still up here, and it will still try to kill me. I'm going to pause the video for a second while I run back and buy Flare, and I'll meet you guys back right here at the warp stage, the warp portal, the thingy that brings us to the castle right here. Okay, and we're back. So both of my black mages now have the ability to cast Flare, and my white mage has the ability to cast Holy and Full Life. We're ready. Well, hopefully we're ready. This thing is supposedly the meanest boss and enemy in the entire game. It does take quite a while to find it, too. The encounter rate is kind of ridiculous. But we should be able to find it on a bridge that leads straight to Tiamat. Looks like we have quite a few treasure chests, a big treasure house up here in the Flying Fortress. We're just taking a look, listen to the music. I don't know if you can hear it very well in the video. Oh, I forgot about the cat's claw too. Wasn't I going to get that? Oh well, we don't need it now. We have... That thing casts Scourge when used. What does Scourge do again? I don't even think I have that. Anyway. I was just taking a look, listen to the music, and it's kind of got more of like an Arabian sort of a mix going on to it now, but it kind of sounded like Sky or Ruan Gardens from Final Fantasy XI. Just kind of reminds me of that just a little bit. Of course, that place is a little bit more pretty than this one, right? However, in the lore Protectoring, in the lore of Final Fantasy XI, I think that place has always existed, right? Wow, this is actually better for my red mage. All the mages can use it. I think my red mage is going to benefit the most from it. However, I don't think anyone else can equip anything other than leather gloves, so I feel like it would be a waste if I didn't just squirt it right here onto my white mage. It also guards against instant death, and who else would you want that to have? Who else would you want to have that other than your white mage? Or white wizard, I guess. Ribbon does not protect you against that, but the protect ring sure does. Let's keep heading on. Where have I been already? I went down. Okay, I got them all. Let's head up now. Through this warp, I guess. A teleporter? Interesting. Sky has those too in Final Fantasy XI. That's weird. Let's come this way. Cottage and a mithril helm. Okay. Mithril helm, huh? That's going to be interesting when I go to talk about other Final Fantasies and mithril. I think I was talking about that in my last video. I was kind of doing like a setup for mithril. Because mithril is something that... well, I talked about it already. It's not something that's very commonplace in like Final Fantasy II. It's something that we kind of end up bringing back about. There's another ribbon, baby. All your mages should have a ribbon now. Well, if you're using mages, I guess you don't have to. Okay, let me just make sure we're getting all these rooms checked out. We're going to go into this one now. I haven't seen any monsters pop out of the treasure boxes at me. Shouldn't there be some wind elementals or something like that? Kind of doing this in a weird order. Let's head into this room. Ooh, mama. Ooh, 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 we just found some nice stuff, didn't we? Oh, yeah, we did. It guards against fire and instant death, and it casts Invisora when used. Okay, but look at what it does to my stats, though. A robe that guards against ice and time irregularities, and it also casts Blizzara when used. That's definitely going to be put on. I don't know about the white one, though. It's cool because it is the white robe, but look at what it does to my defense. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. Plus, I have Invisor. I could just cast that as a regular spell. I think we'll be okay. What in the world is that? Oh, yeah. You obtain adamantite. If you remember a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I think it was like episode 2 or 3 or something like that, I talked about the dwarves. We went and talked to the dwarves, and one of them was Smith, the smithy, and he asked us to bring him some adamantite so he can craft some amazing sword. I don't think that my red mage can use it, so I'm not too worried about running back to go and get that done right now. But an interesting thing, so not only did they have mithril back then, they also had adamantite. And we just got another protect ring, which is going to go straight to this black mage now. I guess it could go to my red mage, but hey, what are you going to do? Gil, gold needle, Sasuke's blade. Sasuke's blade should be specific for ninjas. Small katana used by ninjas. Probably one of the best things in the entire game for a ninja. I actually do like ninjas. In this particular game, anyway. A couple more rooms to check out, and I think that's... We're just going up and up and up, if I'm not mistaken. What does this do? Can you explain this orb to me? From this observation window, you can look out on the entire world. Oh, yeah, this is important. The 4 forces of fire, earth, water, and wind appear as a mist converging on a single point. A point at the center of the 4 altars. This must be the location of the Chaos Shrine. As you can see from the observation window, the Chaos Shrine is the center of the entire world. Protect cloak. How is that significant? Well, this is actually... Oh my. This is a shield that anyone can wear. This poor black mage just has the short end of the stick. Here, take this ruby armlet, buddy. That'll help you. And then the buckler is just so unique that I don't really want to take it off of him. Because nobody else can use anything. Does this cast protect? No? Okay. Anyway, why is that significant? Well, there's, like I said, there is one more crystal, right? There's a 5th crystal, right? Which is the dark crystal that we see in the beginning of the game after we defeat Garland. He's right there next to it. However, the game doesn't talk about it. No lore talks about it. Analyzing Tiamat. No known weakness. No known weakness. They could not figure out its weakness even with their weird computers. Their weird technology. These can't all say the same thing, right? It's almost like they built these computers just to try to figure out how to beat that thing, and they just couldn't figure it out. Tiamat was just too darned powerful. Too stinking strong, if you will. Looks like I haven't gone into this room up north. Let's check it out. Oh, I did go up there. Just the door was closed for some reason. Somebody came and closed the door behind me, I guess. Alright, let's head this way. Yeah, that one was closed too. Weird. Okay, let's go up then, because I think we've checked out everything there is to check out on this floor. This is the 4th floor of the flying freaking fortress, and good thing we have a map, because without it you can wander around this place for quite some time. If you come this way, it just puts you on the other end of the map. It just keeps on going and going and going, and then you'll never find out where to go. But I do. I know where to go because I could look at the map. Okay, I think this is the floor that we're looking for. Yeah, there's the wind crystal right there, so let me double check, because I really want to run into this guy to showcase him. Okay, really quick, I need to talk about this because I made a mistake. I made an error, and I need to apologize to everybody watching the video right now. I was saying that they created Omega Weapon to stop Tiamat, but that's actually not true. They created Omega Weapon to fight Shinryu, which is a completely different it's a completely different boss. Anyway, in Final Fantasy 1, they refer to it as the War Mech, or the Death Machine, which is cool. It is cool. It's very cool. But so what's Shinryu? Well, I don't even know. Is that even in Final Fantasy 1? Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. So Shinryu is in Final Fantasy 1. However, it's only in the Dawn of Souls version and not in the Pixel Remaster version, as far as I am aware. So Shinryu is a ridiculously crazy, powerful dragon. I think lore-wise, it's far more powerful than Tiamat, and that's what they built Omega Weapon to battle. So is this War Mech the same thing as Omega Weapon, I guess, is the question. And the answer is, I want to say yes, but I actually don't know 100% for certain. The War Mech is definitely the pinnacle of what the Lufenians were able to create. And as you can see, it didn't really help them out much. They didn't know a weakness for Tiamat, and it definitely wasn't this weapon. And now we're about to battle it, so you can say that it went berserk, or maybe the powers of chaos got their claws into it and turned it evil, whatever you want to say. That's all we can really say about it for now. Maybe in another Final Fantasy we'll find some more evidence here, but for now we're going to kind of leave it at that. But anyway, Shinryu and Omega Weapon go way back. They fight each other through a lot of different Final Fantasies, and we'll check that out as much as we can moving forward. Anyway, I'm going to pause the video one more time to check one more thing, and then we'll see if we can find this dude. Okay, so that's it. This thing is ridiculously rare to find. Some people are saying it's a 1 in 100 chance of finding it. Other folks are saying it's 1 in 64. So it could take a while to find it. Some people are saying that they actually leveled from like 40 something all the way to level 58, and anyway, that's what I read online. So it could be rather difficult to find. I've played this game many times, and it is rather difficult to find. So I'm not going to show all the battles. I'm just going to pause it and kind of unpause it once I actually do find it. So bear with me. I thought it was kind of interesting. They found some dark wizards, though, huh? Those are like elves. They kind of looked a little bit like dark elves, didn't they? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just skip through these battles, and I will unpause whenever we do find this War Mech.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been 82 years, and I'm still looking for the War Mech. But I haven't given up. I'll stay here on this bridge until I find the darn bastard.
Alright, I'm just kidding. It's been a really long time, and I've been just grinding away. I've seen people say online that this could take hours to find it. Some people are saying that they went from like level 40 all the way to level 70 just looking for this thing. And darn it, golly, guys, I'm really sorry, but I think I'm gonna have to just skip this boss for now, because it's just gonna get too late for me to even record Tiamat at this point. I'll do a couple more encounters and see if we can maybe come across it, but I'm gonna have to just keep going. I'm gonna have to just keep going if I can't find the darn thing. Which sucks. It really does suck after all the talk I did about it. Who knows? Is it supposed to be Omega weapon? I think so. It's like the closest thing to it. Some say it's just here to kind of guard the bridge to Tiamat, but that doesn't really make sense to me because it obviously was built by the Lufenians who wanted to defeat Tiamat. So what's really going on here? I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get into maybe just a couple more encounters, and if I can't find it, I do apologize, but I'm just going to have to move on. If there is anybody out there whose feelings are hurt by that, please let me know, and I'll come back here and see if I can just keep grinding another time and find it for you. But as far as right now goes, as far as this video goes, we're just going to have to keep moving on. I'm getting into a lot of preemptive battles here. So I just kind of have this auto fight thing going on here, which is working out really good. Nothing can really hurt me. I put my white mage up top there because of her ridiculous HP, and also she is just better equipped than the red mage at this point to take damage. Oh, found an ether, that's kind of nice. I went from level 38 to my red mage is 44, almost 45. Oh, how about when we level up, we'll just keep going. We'll level up and then fight Tiamat. To my knowledge, you don't have to beat Tiamat before you find this thing. It can happen at any time. I think the idea behind making it as rare as it was is to kind of create sort of like a legend around it, you know what I mean? Other gamers maybe back in the day would have ran into this thing and started rumors and talked about it, and you know, at the time that this game came out, there was no internet to go and look at. There was no Reddit, or nobody really talking about this, so it was just kind of something, I think, to just spark rumors amongst friends, perhaps. Or maybe even possibly like a total troll move by the developers. You know, you fight your way all the way here through this horrible dungeon. This is the second to the last dungeon in the game. And you run into this thing and it just absolutely obliterates your party, and you're just standing there with your mouth agape, just having no explanation as to what just happened or what to even do about that. What to even say about that. Who knows what the intention was, really. I do know that it seems like they have made the enemy so rare, in fact, that it actually is kind of... I read a story online about one guy who finally ended up finding this thing, and he ended up two-shotting it. And I was like, wow, well, you know, it just goes to show you, you know, there's no real reason for any enemy to truly be this rare, because I think the intention was for it to be a fight for your life, really. I mean, this, to my understanding, this boss is supposed to be harder than the final boss himself. So it's kind of a bummer. I even read that some guy went into the to manipulate your XP gain, and he actually gave himself less XP so he wouldn't overgrind. And he still ended up gaining like a boatload of levels just looking for this thing. So it can be very rare. It can be an incredibly rare boss to run into. If you do run into it, I'd consider yourself lucky. Or if you're playing the Famicom version, I'd consider you very unlucky. It just kind of depends on if you're actually looking for this thing or not. I am very vigilantly looking for it, and I just can't seem to find it. And I've been blowing through these battles. This one's actually going a little bit slow, but most of these battles are going by fairly quick for me. And it does. It kind of will make you start to wonder if you're in the right area, or if you're doing something wrong, or if you maybe need to kill Tiamat first, or what do you need to do to get this thing to appear? Is kind of how it makes you start feeling after a while. Anyway, burn up another Spirit Naga. I'm going to do just a couple more encounters, and then we're just going to move on to Tiamat. And I apologize. I feel really bad. I really wanted to showcase this thing, but holy cow, I just can't seem to find it. Okay, and here we still are. My deepest, most heartfelt and sincere apologies go out to you guys. I'm so sorry, but I just can't find this freaking thing. I can say that I assure you that it does exist, and you can find it right here on this bridge. It could take 10, 20 levels of grinding in order to find it, but it is here. It is real. It does exist. Okay, I was just hoping to showcase it for my video because of all the talking I did about it, but at this point I just don't have the time to do this anymore, and I really got to move on so we can finish up this video and just kind of move on. Again, like I said though, if anybody is wanting to see me do this, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll come back here another day and we will find it. I will grind until we find it. I will grind until I'm actually 82 years old. And we will find it, but that's going to be another video for another day. As you can see, I'm still holding out hope that I'll run into it. Alright, this is it. Let's go ahead and move on to Tiamat, who I will now spank like a little baby because of how powerful I am. She's going to be this green orb right here. The Lich, Merilith, the Kraken. You have defeated 3 fiends and reached my lofty perch. That's right. We're here. All the better. May the image of Tiamat, the Fiend of Wind, be the last to burn in your eyes. Yeah, I think the Kraken said... The Kraken? The Kraken said something very similar to that too. This thing has a pretty cool character design, I gotta say. Let's not waste any time in wrecking this freak. We're just gonna probably do a little bit of buff action here. We need to buff up a little bit. I think this thing is Thunder? Which I don't have like a Newell Thunder. That's okay though. We'll just swing into it. Let's go with the mage that has a higher intelligence is going to go ahead and bust a flare. We're going to go ahead and cast... I thought I had haste. I'm sorry. We'll have him cast haste and we'll have him cast flare. That's probably going to be fine. Oh, did I just haste my white mage? Oh, whoops. I'm so used to my red mage being up there. I think in the end it's not really going to matter though. Tommy took one heck of a hit right there, though. Let's go ahead and we'll just do one of these. What other things can we do? We can protect so we don't take so much damage, and then these mages can just nuke, nuke, nuke. Actual nuke. Blasts all enemies with light and heat. That's interesting. I thought it did like a non-elemental damage sort of thing. Poison gas. I didn't even know you had this move. Ow. That actually sucked. I'm really glad I did cast a Healaga. Healaga? Here comes another big flare for your face. Those actually do pretty good damage too. And we got the Invis and the Protect up, so we should be in pretty good shape going forward. We're gonna try out a Holy. You can just swing. Let's not even worry about trying to cast haste on my red mage at this point. Big spells coming your way. Got one for each of your ugly heads. Okay, it's dead. It didn't really last that long. Let's fast forward it melting. Let's fast forward it disintegrating. And we'll get a pretty good amount of guild, pretty good amount of experience points. And that thing has nothing to say at this point because it's dead. This is the last crystal. The Crystal of Wind. It has regained its shimmer. Dun, 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 dun. It won't do it, so I'll say it. This is the altar of wind from which the power of wind flows forth. We now have all 4 crystals back and ready to go. I don't really want to leave. I actually would like to find that war mech. But as you can see, it doesn't exist. Flare! I'm just kidding, it does exist. It's here. It's just hiding from me. It's trolling me. It's trolling me. Don't make your encounters this rare, Final Fantasy. That's crazy. You make it so rare that people could literally spend hours in this place and not ever see hide or hair of it. Make people even question whether it exists or not. That's just too crazy. That's just too rare. This is not Final Fantasy 11, okay? We're not sitting here waiting for placeholders. Even then, like, it's like a guaranteed spawn for NMs. Anyway, now that all 4 crystals are alight, where do you go? Well, as you saw from the window, the Chaos Shrine is in the dead center of everything, and everything is pointing towards the Chaos Shrine. I'm going to stop here really quick because I want to know if that dancing girl is going to say anything different or new. Hey, dancing girl, what do you have to say? She doesn't give us any more hints or tips at this point of the game. And the elves kind of talked about some things. Oh, I know where to go. I know where to go. Let's go back to Crescent Lake real quick, because they said once we have all the crystals' powers restored, that we should return to them and all will be revealed. Well, reveal it to us. We're ready to have it be revealed.
You finally got all 4 crystals. The truth will be revealed now. You'll never find the war machine.
Okay, I'm just kidding. So, talk to Lucan. He doesn't say anything different at all. I thought, wasn't it this guy who says that? An ever-repeating 2,000-year cycle. The warped destiny that gives birth and rebirth to wrath. But it's no more than an illusion. A fantasy, if you will. And only the warriors of light can break the cycle. Okay, and that's why the warriors of light were summoned at all in the first place, right? The Lufenians brought too much the Lufenians brought too much light to this world with their futuristic technology and all their robots and airships and things like that, and the crystals had to balance that out before that ended up getting out of control. We didn't get to fight the war mech, unfortunately, but they say that it's the most powerful enemy in the game, even more powerful than the final boss. Unfortunately, it couldn't defeat Tiamat for some reason. I don't know what the deal is with that. But that's why the crystals had to come up with the Warriors of Darkness, which are the Fiends of Chaos, the 4 Fiends of Chaos. So Tiamat and, they say Kraken, I don't know how to pronounce that, apparently, came and helped Tiamat stop all of this. Right, so even though they seem like bad guys, are they really? I mean, all they were doing is bringing balance. They were bringing balance to light and darkness. The 4 forces gather in the Chaos Shrine, the geographic center of the 4 altars. With the forces again flowing freely, the time to go to the Chaos Shrine and strike at the root of darkness has come. Okay, but anyway, so the 4 fiends came, they rose to power, and then this chaos came and started this like time cycle, and then darkness ended up getting out of control. So that's why the heroes of light are here now, to stop them from getting too powerful. It only took Tiamat and Kraken to completely lay waste to the sky people, or the civilizations of the north, as they're called, or what have you. So they, by the time all 4 fiends would come together and unite, they would just be so powerful. I think they would actually overrun and rule the world. So the Warriors of Light coming when they did is very important. You would have no memory of this, but before you wandered into this land, time flowed properly for you. But that flow of time is... hold on. Let's talk to these guys really quick before we wrap up. So he doesn't say anything new. 12 sages are we, guided to this land by stars and prophecy. The 4 fiends of God gathered at Chaos Shrine. The time to go to the Chaos Shrine and strike at the Root of Darkness has come. Yes, we need to break the time cycle. The 4 crystals shine once again. The combined power of that light is the only means of breaking through the wall of time. The architect of this disaster is beyond that wall, 2,000 years in the past. So 2,000 years in the past, that's well before Tiamat or any of the fiends even came about at all. So what was going on with that? You would have no memory of this, but before you wandered into this land, now keep that in mind too, that we wandered into this land, which would kind of insinuate that there's other places to go other than what we see here in the world map. The Warriors of Light did not come from here. They traveled to here. Right? And when we did, we got stuck in the time loop. But that flow of time has become warped for you now in this time. Yes, we know. The chain of time has become looped back upon itself. You must travel back in time to the link in that chain that gave birth to this cycle of wrath and destroy it. That's like the third time that they've referred to it as a cycle of wrath. Because it is. The time eventually resets and all this stuff starts happening from the very beginning. Which is interesting. We're gonna have to actually beat the game and talk more about this when we get to that point. But the sequence of disasters that begun 400 years ago, it was triggered by events that happened only a scant few days in our past. But whoever set this in motion has now fled 2,000 years into the past. I see time spiraling. Whatever went back 2,000 years in the past has brought the world to the brink of destruction, and now, 2,000 years later, it travels into the past again. A cycle of wrath without end. Fourth person who's referred to this as a cycle of wrath. An ever-repeating 2,000-year cycle, the warped destiny that gives birth and rebirth to wrath. But it's no more than an illusion, a fantasy. Okay, we talked to that guy already. Bring the light of the 4 crystals to us, warriors of light. Only you can do this. I did. I have that. Power must be directed towards its proper end. Like I had nothing useful to say. The 4 forces that make up the world. See the connection, right? We have all the elemental crystals, but then the 4 elemental fiends. I think it's pretty clear to me that they were created by the crystals to bring the balance, but you decide. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and use the end. We're going to go ahead and end the video here on that note, and we will probably complete the game in the next video. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on more, and we'll see you again in the next one. Bye-bye. Have a good night.